Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann and Associates, as we've got early boys lacrosse action for you. A pair of undefeated teams, the Westlake Thunder preparing to host the Brighton Bengals. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Excited to bring to you what should be a fantastic game here from Westlake High School, as we start by introducing the visiting Brighton Bengals, coming in 1-0 on the year, defeated Copper Hills in decisive fashion to kick off the 22 season. And they've got some youngsters do the Bengals. In that first matchup, it was Donovan Wismer, a junior, led the way with 4 goals, 3 assists. Grayson Harris, another junior, had 4 goals and 2 assists. Carrera, a freshman, had 3 goals. Taylor, a sophomore, had 3 goals. It's a young roster, but boy, a good one for Brighton, as they're looking to get back to competing for state championships here in 5A. Meanwhile, for Westlake, talk about the start for Coach Horn's group. 7-0 out of the chutes for the Thunder. Wins over Cedar Valley, Green Canyon, Weber, Mountain Ridge, Harriman. Been a good start for the Thunder, and they've got guys that are scoring in bunches as we are underway here. The Bengals in the navy, Westlake in the home whites. Hunter Hernandez, the senior attacker, 31 goals just through the first 7 games for Hernandez, donning number 39 tonight for the Thunder. Meanwhile, Jagger Huscroft, a junior, with 13 goals, and Garrison Fun with 8. Of course, 7 games under the belt for Westlake, just 1 for Brighton. Certainly a big factor in the statistical differentiation. But today, the chance for the 2 undefeated to go head-to-head, and only one will remain that way, is Brighton on the attack here. I want to let you know Brian Brown is on his way. We had a little hiccup, and he's bailing us out of a situation here, so he will join us here shortly, as that pass just off the mark was intended there for Grayson Harris, as this will roll through, and Brighton will continue. Played to the wing, now skipped across. Here's Harmston. Worked down to the angle, now GLE. Back up here with Wismer. Took the shot, but save made there by Kelson Lewis. The senior has had a nice start to the year for the Thunder. Meanwhile, starting in cage today for Brighton, Mason Frey, the junior, as we've got the whistle here. I want to let you know the clock you see on your screen, unofficial. We do our best to keep it synchronized with the official clock here in the stadium. At times you'll see it start early, stop it late, that sort of activity. Brighton back on it offensively. We talk about Westlake and the start they've had. The defense is really what is shown. Most goals they've allowed in the game is 7. Weber scored 7 on this Westlake defense. And again, that's through 7 games. They've really ratcheted down, taken away scoring opportunities here from opponents. As good news for everyone, the Bear walking into the stadium as we speak. So Brian will be with us here shortly. Brighton from X. Worked in front, ground ball here. Picked up by Harris. That ball was just dropped by Reese. He's back on it for the Bengals. Plays with Anderson. Working around. A little bit of space here for Harmston. Oh, that pass just over the top of the stick. Tries to be kept in and is. Nice piece of work there on that far line for Harris. Kicked up with Harmston once again. Back to the angle. Taylor, the sophomore, with it. Oh, defender lost his stick. Austin trying to attack. Nice little no-look pass. That shot shut down right at the post. Good work there by Lewis for Westlake. Thunder trying to get the clear. Here's Hudson on the run here for the Thunder. He'll peel off here, allow that defense, or allow the offense to set. There's a flag here on the play. But around is Huscroft. Jagger playing over here with Whiting. This is fun. Garrison. He'll outlet up to Grant Pugmire, the junior. Looking for a little lane here, not finding much.
Shot by Grant Pugmire.
And that kicked out by Brighton. That will allow Westlake here to put it in play, allow that Brighton defense to reset. We also get the enforcement here of the penalty, that flag. And it'll go against Harmston. 32nd here. Man up opportunity.
Penalty on Brighton. Westlake will go man up.
So man up here for the Thunder. Apologies, we are working on some of those technical issues, trying to get them resolved. 7:20 on the clock. We're just going to pause ours on your screen. We'll let that catch up to itself here. Still no score. Brighton Westlake first quarter. Sent out with Huscroft. Worked around here for the Thunder. Oh, big shot there, but saved away. Huscroft with a nice look, but an impressive save. And my apologies, I said that Mason Frey was in the cage. I think it might actually be 33, Isaac Hansen. Yes, it is. And with that, welcome, Brian, the man who is saving us here on Rewind on this Tuesday night.
Saving feels a little bit overzealous for something that,
No, it's
just
a
another
save.
day in the life here at Rewind, really, Dane.
Oh, that's the truth. This ball trickling back to the middle, trying to reach to get it, and pushed out there. It'll stay here. Man, we are all over the place. Again, we're just working through a couple things. Appreciate your patience. I think we've got it all squared away. All right, just under 6.5 to go here.
Yeah, real back and forth game as you've seen already. Not a lot of scoring opportunities happening right now. Two teams just kind of filling themselves out early on.
Yeah, here's Huscroft, and right in front. That was denied by Hansen. Coming around, and there's the first goal of the game. Good look there for the Thunder as they capitalize first.
And that's really what you can count on me for, Dane, is to jinx things into happening. But it's a great job as he wraps around off the rebound. And we'd see some great work by the goalies here back and forth early on. Able to get that, keeping the effort going, showing that grit and tenacity to stay with the play. And it leads to a goal here for Westlake.
I'm talking about a Westlake team that they've scored 67 goals. Again, that's through 7 games coming into this one. But boy, that offense gets an early look, a good look, and able to capitalize.
A really nice look there, close to the crease, able to get over the top of the goalie. Looks like possession still a little bit in limbo here. Ooh.
And Brighton coming away with it.
Paying the price.
Yeah, no kidding. And this one, way too much under that one as it flies out the back of the stadium. We do have a flag here from that prior hit.
You can see that flag on the far side of the field near the 50-yard line marker there from the other side. This was a big hit, and Lacrosse not normally known for those big kind of bone-jarring hits. That's likely why I spent most of my time as a player in a penalty box there, Dane.
Oh, yeah, so 1 minute penalty here to the Thunder. So they'll be man down. Brighton with a man-up opportunity here early. It's Gubler. called. And a chance here for Brighton to potentially even things up.
You can see Brighton working it around, trying to find an opportunity to get a good shot here with a full minute advantage. You want to see him be a little bit more aggressive, maybe trying to probe that defense a little bit more.
Try to get someone set up right in front of the cage, and boy, they did. Taylor had it, but looked like that just kind of jumped out of the cross there, Brian.
Yeah, it's just a great shot on goal. Just didn't get through there, but Brighton able to retain possession. A long shot here, Dane.
Yeah, it's a big windup. A lot of heat behind that shot from Harris, but a nice job once again there in cage by Lewis. He's had some impressive saves here early on.
Mm-hmm. Very much so, and you want to see, if you're Brighton, I think right now, you want to keep testing him, right?
Yeah.
Right now he's playing with that confidence. You want to keep sending those shots his direction. Nice physical play there on defense by Brighton, able to kind of reset the possession, but Westlake comes away with it.
Yeah, I think we had a timeout called here. Yes, we did. 4.5 to go. Timeout. We'll step aside, get our legs under us. We'll be back. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Welcome back here. 4.5 to go. First quarter. 1-0 Westlake. They'll have it here to start. Man down as that has now expired. Back to even strength are the Thunder. So first man up opportunity for the Bengals. They get one shot. No goals. And now Westlake bringing it ahead. Here's Peterson. Got that edge. He'll play behind. A good close down there by Luke Reese. That looked like maybe a stick check there. Had that fly out. Westlake able to back it up.
Yeah, you like the aggression there. I think it was Huscroft that had it. Trying to take it into the goal there, get a nice close shot. They seem to have had more success so far. The lone goal that we've seen coming up close like that.
This one drifting across. All good there.
And Brighton comes away with possession here. Nice job to avoid a couple defenders there.
Yeah.
Get the ball into action.
Well, that's a tough bounce pass, and Brighton couldn't possess it. Westlake trying to get it back, and they do. Good hustle there by Bridger Greer, the sophomore. A long pull, still with it here for the Thunder.
Love seeing that effort by Greer to get the ball into action, try and press it, play a little fast-paced. Especially with a long pull like that, it can be hard to really keep it under control. He did a great job getting it upfield. See him hustling back on defense now.
Speaking of, here's a long pull for Brighton. Harmiston coming up, looking right in front. Oh, and that's saved with the body of Harmiston had the shot, but that's saved with the body of Lewis. But there's the follow and the goal for Brighton as the Bengals have knotted it up at 1.
Bit of a teaching point there on that one, Dan. It's a great job by Brighton to stay with the play, keep following the ball where it's going, and keep testing the goalie. You know, especially at this level with high school goalies, it's so much more of a mental game sometimes. You make that big play, and you start kind of feeling pretty good, and then it keeps coming at you. It's hard to stay in the game, keep those emotions level. Great job there by Brighton to keep with it and get the goal.
I think that was Donovan Wismer with the goal there for the Bengals. But, yeah, you're right. That stick-to-itiveness, Brian, allowed them to get a second opportunity and able to score against this Thunder group that's not allowed much in the early part of the year here.
Yeah,
Procedure there.
You can see why. You know, they're excellent in the goal position. Kelson Lewis has done a really great job all game long. Just kind of got caught in a bad spot trying to chase too many shots. And, you know, usually as a goalie, you hope at least one of those bounces off goal helps you out. Didn't seem like any of them helped him that time.
Yeah. So Brighton back with it here. Here's Carter Santa Maria, the seniors. A nice start for Brighton as well. A lot of scoring in that first win against Copper Hills. They'd love to keep that going as the season progresses. Of course, such a tough region. You have Olympus and Park City, and it's kind of the I'm trying to think of a good word that starts with T to go with trio. The troublesome trio. I mean, it's a good group out of Region 6.
Yeah, for any other team that's trying to go in there, it's the terrible trio.
Hey,
right?
there you go, the
It's
terrible trio.
The Bermuda Triangle of good lacrosse programs out there.
Yeah, nice reach there by Carter English. Nearly was able to win that back for the Thunder. They're trying to really push him side to side. Now up with Wismer again. Worked near side on the angle. They'll drop this behind GLE. Harmston back again. Boy, the Westlake covering so much ground right now, Brian.
Yeah, I was just watching that, Danny. Look, you seem very careful in particular about when they want to take their shots, right? They're not getting too far out into that Brighton offense and able to get the deflection here, and now we've got a breakaway coming.
Yeah, here comes Hudson. The senior was able to gather the ground ball. He's still on it. Boy, tried to connect up, but couldn't handle it, and it was a nice check put on there by the Brighton D to help win it back.
Yeah, great job by the long stick there to use his body to keep the defender or the attack away from the ball, able to get possession back. And Brighton's going to slow this one down and try and get something set up for here for the end of the quarter with less than a minute left.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised because I never saw an indication. Both teams were saying it should be theirs, and now the officials conversing here. Westlake's petitioning for the possession. I think they've got it. So, yeah, it'll be Westlake ball.
A little bit of confusion. If you're Westlake, you want to really take advantage of this and try and get after the goal as they bring it down behind. Wrap around a little bit there. Great defense there from Brighton.
Yeah, we've talked about the Westlake defense, but Brighton's has been just as stingy. They really haven't given up much as that one regathered here for the Thunder. I think this is Hunter Hernandez from X. Great job pushing him out, and that pass is unable to be handled, and there's going to be an over and back. So it might be Brighton here with the last look. Here come the Bengals. Wismer right in front. That pass, or that shot, didn't make its way through. Final 10 seconds. Wismer being handled. He gets rid of it. 3 seconds left. Big wind-up shot. And that boy nearly got a second bounce, but kept out by Lewis. And that'll do it for the first quarter. 1-1, Westlake and Brighton tied up after one. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. Our first boys lacrosse game of the year. It feels good, doesn't it, Brian?
We were just talking about it. It's a different vibe with lacrosse, just so much more excitement, you know?
Yeah.
So much more space. You're calling the games. You and I have never done lacrosse before together, so that'll be new.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to get to make fun of me on Twitter for all the dumb stuff I say.
We debuted football, and I was like, that was fun. Let's try another sport. So let's go lacrosse. Why not?
Well, and as always, you can never, ever beat a backdrop in Utah when it comes to high school activities.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, you can't see the top of the mountains, but like the snow just takes over and then blends into the clouds. It's pretty phenomenal here. Take a look at that.
Great field and two great teams and a great game in front of us is we've got a tight score after one.
Yeah, and a quick timeout being taken here by Brighton. That kind of surprised me a little bit, having just started the second quarter there and taking a timeout just 20 seconds in.
You have to assume that it was something that they talked about and there was an early miscommunication, which, you know, in these kind of games where it's a hyped-up atmosphere, you know, you've got a lot of young kids on both rosters that you're trying to mix into things. You want to make sure, especially early in the season, that you're getting that stuff communicated to to everybody, and especially to your group out there on the field and making sure that they're clear on it. This is a kind of a game, I think, for Brighton where Westlake can get away with it in a hurry, right? If you let them score a couple goals in a row, that momentum can push them over, and it'll be really, really hard to fight back. And so you want to make sure you're on the same page and got everybody taking care of whatever it is they need. You know, we're a little bit removed, so we can't see if it was like an equipment issue or if it was a lineman issue, whatever it was. So, you know, this point in the game, it's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
You don't love it from an efficiency standpoint, but, you know, it's not like it's the fourth quarter and you're down to your last time out.
Right.
So.
Well, and to that point, it's only the second game of the year for the Bengals, right? And so there is still a lot of teaching, and we talk about a lot of youth on this roster. I mean, all the guys we highlighted, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, it's a young core. And so, you know, a lot of teaching opportunities. And, of course, with the possession, I mean, Brian, you talk about this Westlake team that doesn't allow a lot of scoring, so your opportunities may be limited. You want to capitalize on every one that you can if you're the Bengals.
Yeah, and Westlake has been aggressive early on, looking to really score and you know, take advantage of their stellar play on the defensive end, like you mentioned.
Here's Grayson Harris. Pushes to the angle with Harmston.
You've seen Brighton working that right side heavily.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, you think about Westlake, ever since really, you know, this became a sanctioned sport the last 3 years, it has been the defense. And so that's been kind of the name of the game for this program. And they've continued to flex that muscle here tonight.
And you see how good they are, both with their stick work and moving their feet.
Well, and even their length, right? I mean, you don't even need a long pole. Boy, that's a great look to get it right in front, but the check there doesn't allow for the shot to get away. And that is that defense just taking it away, Brian.
And you can see just what an asset Lewis is there at goal, his ability to clear the ball, you know, get the defense reset. Now we've got a little, looks like a change of possession here.
Yeah, that one got pushed out, and they're actually going to leave that with the Thunder.
But you love a goalie who's not afraid to get outside of the goal and get out there and pick up a ball and operate a little bit.
Can make such a difference, and especially when you even think about, you know, not even offensively, but even in a 10-man, right? And that athleticism at that position could be such a differentiator.
It really is. You know, when you look at lacrosse traditionally, it's usually your deep holes that are the bigger players, right? Longer players. You want to have that length. And really, Westlake has a great amount of athleticism at that position as well. I think it makes it part of the reason why they're so tough defensively. And you're seeing Brighton here trying to push the ball, take advantage of their own speed and quickness.
It's a great move, and it's Taylor with the bounce shot and the goal as the Bengals take the lead, and that is, James Anderson. That was was that 5 or 3? Man. I was thinking it was 5. Yes, it was. It was Anderson. James with his first of the game. 2-1 Brighton. And to your point, Brian, that's turned over behind the goal. And Brighton recognizing, hey, we got an opportunity to get up the field, get numbers, and they take advantage with the bounce shot there of James.
Yeah, these are two teams that clearly know who they're going up against, both in terms of reputation and what they need to do in order to execute. It's a great job there. Anderson getting upfield, just a junior, Dane. You know, like you mentioned, only his second game of his junior year. For him to be able to attack like that and put a shot on goal, just a fantastic amount of effort.
Westlake with the possession off the procedure.
Westlake with the face-off win.
Westlake now setting it up. Here's Jagger from X. Looking for help as that double team came. Now splitting it. Nice move there by Huscroft, but can't get one away. Flag in on the play. And Brighton with the possession. Now we'll get the stoppage and the enforcement here. Looks like a push there.
Yeah, that was a pretty physical play. Almost looked like a cross check there with the stick as well into the back. It's not. You love the aggression. Just a little bit too much, too close to the goal there, and an easy flag there for the official.
So this will be the second man-up opportunity. Both of them have been 30 seconds for the Thunder. Unable to capitalize on the first. See if they can do so here on their second. Harris plays the wing shot there, just off the mark, but backed up here.
You can see Brighton letting Westlake kind of work it around the exterior there on the outside, not worrying too much about those long shots, trying to keep those defensemen in close.
It's where, boy, those runs right through the middle, if you can find them, right? Get a quick pass, get a look in front of the cage. Can be so helpful, but nothing there. Time winding down. And done.
So you want to play a little bit safe there if you're Brighton. Don't want to go chase too far into the corner, but get too far out of position here as we're seeing mad scramble for the ball there.
Yeah, Westlake coming away with it. That was Ryan Whiting gathering it for the Thunder. Here's Huscroft, Jagger. Still with it here, trying to be pushed wide. Boy, that's a tough angle shot. And that is going to be won by the Bengals. Nice hustle there for Brighton to get the possession.
Yeah, great job using base and a physical body as part of the defense there by Brighton. You know, we talk so much about stick work in this sport, and it's so important, but you're seeing the other elements of it here and play on defense there for Brighton, and then able to go get the ball and turn it over here.
Hunter Hernandez gave that a valiant chase for the Thunder. Thunder fans thought that he was closer, but the official deemed otherwise. Is Brighton back with the possession into the offensive zone here? Reese sends that up here with Boston Middaugh, and now with Carter Santa Maria.
Seeing a lot of substitution early on here, Dane.
Yeah.
Trying to keep fresh legs, give different looks, right? And I think with Brighton, some of that is figuring out which lineups really work for them and how they can execute best, especially here where it's almost like a half-court situation, right?
That's what I was going to say, is combinations, right? I mean, again, second game of the year, looking for those guys that can find their rhythm, find each other. That tried to be thread right in front. We talk about those runs to the cage, but deflected by Westlake, kept here by Brighton. Luke Reese was able to maintain. Carter kind of resetting here, trying to get around the defense there of Peterson. Brighton still on it, looking for the backside, extra pass in front, and that taken away, literally taken away by Lewis.
Again, just it's so hard to get in there against Westlake. That just the discipline of the defense, the talent that they have there. You can see their ability to just take the ball and get it going in the other direction. Just really, really talented group there. I love their athleticism, too, on defense, the way that they move. Love that foot speed.
And I actually didn't see a flag, but we did have a flag on that play. Another push here. This called on Steenblick of Brighton. So the third man-up opportunity for Westlake, and the third that's just 30 seconds. I feel like, look, I never played lacrosse, but the 30 seconds, I don't want to say it's impossible, but, man, that's tough to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean, even a minute with just man-up is a little bit hard when you're here in kind of the half-field situations, because it does take so much work. It's a lot like soccer in that respect, right, where you're trying to work angles and get guys into position and get defenses moving around so that you can find those open areas to really make a charge.
And when everything's pushed to the outside, boy, that 30 seconds flies. And so much so that we've got a timeout being taken here by Westlake, and I think that's the last of the half for the Thunder. Timeout, Westlake. They're still man up, but they'll have little time when we come back. Welcome back out of the timeout. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown. Brian, we mentioned still man up, little time. If you're Westlake here, how are you trying to attack given what you've seen from this Brighton defense in this first half?
Well, you can tell that Brighton wants to use their physicality, and so trying to get in close to the net, you've really got to be precise in how you're executing, especially out of timeouts as we see a bobbled ball there, right? And so you want to keep moving, keep rolling, keep the ball circulating. I think possession by a single player is going to lead you into trouble. You want to try and get your passes going as much as possible to try and get those Brighton defenders off their spot, because as we've seen, when they try to go inside, Brighton's just been really stout and tough defensively. And it's almost a contrast to two styles, right, where Westlake defensively is so athletic and they move their feet so well, and then you've got Brighton who's He was just physical, tough, and aggressive.
How about that clear by Hansen? Finds his way all the way across the middle of the field. Brighton now getting ready to set up. I like some of what Westlake tried to do. You see some of that deception, right? Oh, we're going to bring a guy one side of the cage and then try to slip someone in on the other side. But, again, that Brighton defense just been attuned to it early. They haven't given up much. And now they find themselves having killed off that third man down situation and back on the offensive end.
At any level, eye discipline is such an important part of the sport. And you see what Westlake's trying to do there on offense is get Brighton to be less disciplined on their eyes and open up opportunities. As you see a Brighton an offensive player kind of crash through the middle there, missed opportunity it looked like for Brighton.
Bengals looking for a lane here to attack. Nice help coming over there. That was deflected, and Westlake able to generate possession. Coming away with it here is Pugmire. We're crediting him the goal in the first. I might have missed that one. We were dealing with some other technical issues, but we are crediting Grant with it. Westlake just couldn't maintain that pass, and Brighton with it now. Here comes Anderson. Remember, he had a bounce shot goal in a similar situation back in the first. And that was just off the mark, backed up here by the Bengals. Excuse me, it was in the second he had that situation.
Yeah, you see he had two teammates there with him. Kind of would have liked him break up a little bit more, maybe slow it down, but Anderson, again, had the early shot. He's feeling that rhythm. You don't necessarily mind it, and you still get the ball back here. A chance to reset and work your system a little bit. Work what it is that you've been practicing all week with your cuts and how you're trying to get inside there to try and get a goal in.
Yeah, in case you're a newbie to lacrosse, on shots, the closest to where the ball went out gets the possession, be that offense or defense. So you'll always see offensive players trying to rush after where the ball went out to maintain possession for their offense. On passes, it's last to touch, and that's at the official's discretion. And sometimes where there are those tough calls. That one thrown right on net, but handled again easily and cleanly by Kelson Lewis.
You can just see, again, what an asset Lewis is, his ability, his reaction time, the way he sees the field. I think Westlake's extremely well coached in how they rotate with their defensive system, never interfering with his vision too much, allowing him to be able to see all the action and react.
Boy, and great pressure there in the back because you had a couple of Thunder and you had some trying to make runs to in front of the cage, but Garrison Fun had no chance of getting a pass away because of the extension of that Brighton D, as they've looked impressive here in this first half as well. 2:45 to go here.
Yeah, really two great defensive teams, great defensive effort. And that's the fun part about lacrosse is that a 2-1 battle can still be a great game because there's so much action that's happening.
Yeah, I know people who have tried to watch hockey and they felt bored. There's no boring here as Westlake able to take advantage. It's Noah Thorne coming right down the lane and scoring to tie it up.
Yeah, just a great job as you see him dive down the middle and put that shot right on goal. Phenomenal job by Noah Thorne doing exactly what we talked about, right? Getting that motion flowing, trying to get defenders drawn in too much, and he sleeps right in the crack there and puts one right on goal. Great shot by him and with the equalizer.
Yeah, you talk about eye discipline, right? And it's so hard when everyone's extended to always stay with your guy, but you see Thorne on that time just able to get the step, and next thing you know, it's one-on-one, able to score right over the shoulder. That's an important goal for Westlake here late in the half.
Yeah, it definitely is. The offense had stagnated a little bit for them, and we'd seen Brighton kind of push the ball a lot more as they get the face-off here, get the early initiation.
Yeah, I was curious if they might take that quick shot, but they do wait, show some patience here. And the thing I love about Brighton, they beat Copper Hills. That was 22-1. So they've put the offense together, but today it's been a much more deliberate effort. And so showing they can play multiple ways, they're getting a lot of youth. Brighton fans have to be happy with what they've seen here in the start of the year for the Bengals.
Yeah, absolutely. A team that looks very well coached early on here. Getting the fundamentals down is so important in this sport, and you can kind of see trying to win in a variety of different manners, pushing the ball, also working it here in the half field set, and being very precise in terms of where you go with the ball.
90 seconds to go here in the first half. Working from X to the angle. Still working around, looking for that lane, stepping in, shot, and a goal. Boy, that had some heat on it. How about that shot from Luke Reese?
Yeah, Reese, just like you said, a little extra mustard there on the dog as he's sliding it past the goalie. Great shot by him, and really what I loved was the patience from Brighton, right? They had the initial early shot on goal that they could have taken, backed it out, worked the system, did what they needed to do, gave Reese an opportunity to put one in the net, and he does. That's not something you see very often against Kelson Lewis either.
No. So Brighton with the answer. There's just over 1:15 to go. See what response the Thunder have. If any, is this one swept back but gathered by the wing there of the Bengals. That was Bowen England able to generate the possession for Brighton. And we've got whistles here, and I think a timeout being taken by the Bengals, and indeed that's the case. Timeout Brighton, 1:05 to go. We'll have the rest of the first half when we come back. Welcome back, 1:05 to go, 3-2, Brighton out in front. And with the possession, Bengals looking for a little bit of distance here before the break. Talk about a team that has not been afraid to go up against it. Obviously on the road here against Westlake, a team that's undefeated, of course. Next matchup for the Bengals, they'll take on Fremont. That's a good Fremont team in 6A, and so the Bengals have been willing to play up and really go test the competition. And they've looked the part here early on in this first half.
And you can see why. I think they're very confident in the group they have. It's a group that's very disciplined, playing within the system, to use all those fancy cliches that we love to use in broadcasting, right?
That's right. Just waiting for that free throw to come. And Taylor to the angle shot there. That rose over the crossbar by Harris.
You're seeing the confidence grow for this Brighton team.
Yeah, you are. They're starting to shoot.
They are, and that's, I think they can kind of smell some blood in the water, so to speak, and a little more confident in being able to let those shots go. Part of the reason why it did feel like it was so important for them to get that goal right after the equalizer for Westlake, that little bit of cushion.
Yep,
it's going to give so much confidence in these games.
Well, and right now you're seeing those angle shots coming in a flurry for Brighton, and if you're Westlake, it's like, guys, we got 31 more seconds. Come on.
Yeah. Well, and if you're a goalie, it's so much harder when you've got guys crossing over in front of you. You can't always see where that shot's coming from or get a direct line of sight
up top.
in there.
Yeah, straight away, that denied.
Mm-hmm. You see the difference. The up top goal. Oh,
yeah, and we're going to get a call here. That ball was on the turf, and the check there came. And, boy, starting to get a little chippy here as after the whistle, boy, players had to be separated there a little bit. As looks like Brighton here are going to go man up on the play.
And that is one thing about this sport, Dane, is that there is a physical element to it, and when it gets there's a distinct line, right, where it's too much, and when you see it happen and tempers start to flare a little bit, it's important to get everybody calmed down, get some breath in you, and get back to the art of the sport and not so much the physicality and the aggression. See,
and I originally thought that the penalty might be called on Brighton, but then Westlake looked like they were heading to the table, and now I'm trying to figure out what's going on as we might have offsetting here as players coming together, and I think, yeah, we're going to get another flag here as just couldn't let it be enough, apparently. And look, I'll take a moment here. I'm advocating for the UHSAA right now, which people might want to. The UHSAA took away games from lacrosse this year. It's an action that has not happened. I can't think of a time when it's happened, but it's because of what some of the actions and what has happened at lacrosse on the field, benches, parents, etc. Want to clean up the culture a little bit, right? It being a sanctioned sport, and we talk about moments like this where, yeah, you get some physicality, and that talk continues as you're coming over, and then you go out to maybe resolve it, and it continues again and just festers and just brews into a pot that is just bubbling over, right? And we've got to figure out as lacrosse, right, how we contain that a little bit better, right? There's opportunities for us in the game to grow that maturity and that development so that we can come, play the game, enjoy the game, and then move on.
100%. We're here to watch a game. We're here to watch young guys compete and showcase their skill sets, not be hotheads or escalate situations or continue. And part of that is, the reason that sports are so important in our society is we learn how to control our emotions and compete through them. And you're seeing it right now. UHSAA, the officials, being very precise, very, very explanatory with everything with both coaches about what's going on, talking it out here at the 50-yard line as we kind of let everybody cool down, take a few deep breaths, and work through everything. And I think that's really important because we're about sport here. Yeah. And not trying to lose the point of people getting aggressive and having fights, and especially with sticks where it can be easy for those to get swung.
And that's the challenge. I mean, I did a game last week, Northridge at Bingham, and the challenge was we had a situation there where teams had to be sent to their benches, and we had to get cooled off. Even coaches had to cool off. And it was one where it was, I made a similar point then and making a similar point now. Like, there's an opportunity for us in this game to be able to, get that more under wraps, more under control. We do have some non-releasables, and looks like it's going to be 3-minute non-releasables on both sides. And so, 4 on Brighton and 3 on Westlake. Those are going to be non-releasable. So when it all comes out in the wash, that won't be till the third quarter. There will be 1 minute of man up for Westlake, but it's both sides here down a player in a non-releasable situation.
And not how you want to see this half end, but I think an appropriate penalty given the situation, given what the message that UHSAA wants to convey, and really trying to show everybody that there are consequences for the behaviors, right?
Yep.
And this will end our Mr. Rogers life lessons of the day, hopefully, for this broadcast.
Oh, goodness.
But
I was hoping we could wait till the second half, but not the case. Final seconds here of the half. Westlake will bring it up, and in this situation, you just kind of hold to let the half expire, and that will be what they do. So the first half comes to a close. It is a 3-2 advantage for the Brighton Bengals as they lead Westlake, and we will step aside for the break. Halftime. We'll be back second half on KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week. Welcome back. Start of the second half. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. 3-2 the advantage for the Brighton Bengals. Brian, an interesting first half. We knew that two teams with good defenses. I don't know if I knew that the defense would win out, but they certainly have in that first half.
yeah, it was a very developmental game early on, right? As the whole first period was basically trying to figure each other out and size each other up, and then saw a lot more activity there in the second quarter as Brighton got a lot more aggressive, grew confident throughout the course of the game as you see them start to move the ball up the field here.
That one chipped wide, literally, but nobody there. It's out of play.
Nothing like players doing exactly the opposite of what you're talking about right when you're in the middle of a thought.
Hey, it's the old broadcaster's curse, man. It applies in more than just free throws.
We live with it and we love it.
Big run there. That one was denied at the cage. And, boy, Isaac Hansen has been sharp today. It was Frey who got the opener start, and it's been Hansen today, and he's been good.
He has, and you see a good job by the defense. They're trying to force the Westlake attack to the side of the goal. They're not able to get a clean shot as Brighton maintains possession and takes it across the field.
And here's England. We've seen Bowen with a couple nice plays and possession initiations such as that. Worked back, and now Brighton looking to set this offense up. Carrera sends a top. Patience over with Reese.
And this Westlake defense so disciplined, so good at staying within their roles. You've seen that Brighton's worked really hard.
Well, that pass just tall for Anderson to be able to gather. This is where being, the man downs really does allow for some more spacing and some more opportunities.
It does, and I think it's an argument out there for everybody who loves, the sixes format where there's a little bit more space to operate, and really that's the whole excitement level of getting goals and everything like that plays into it. But for two teams like Brighton and Westlake, where they're so good defensively, it really does open things up and allow for scoring opportunities. You see Brighton starting to probe here.
Yeah, nice little shimmy and shake there for Austin Taylor. Outlets that to the angle, and now they'll work up top back with Anderson. Anderson some space, thought about winding that up. Instead, we'll pull it back, and Brighton continues to be very patient here.
Working behind the goal, working the ball around.
Open
Clean shot.
look, right to the netting, and captured there by Lewis.
You see a little bit of the chess match that happens between an attacker and a goalie there is you're trying to figure out where the attacker's going to go with the ball, right?
Hey, just keep on going, young man. This is your goalie. Oof. Oh, boy, and we get a whistle here behind the play, but, boy, that was a great opportunity to set up your guy one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Just missed it.
And it looked like everybody had forgotten that Kelson Lewis had the ball still as he made it all the way upfield. Just a great job by him to keep with it and get after the play still after making a great save. And something that I love seeing in a goalie is one who's not afraid to get upfield and go make a play.
Officials conversing here. I'm not quite certain what the discussion was
like
about.
There may have been a substitution situation.
And that clock continued to run for a while. And our apologies, we're just going to line to that. Scoreboard says 8:49 left. We'll monitor that closely, and they do start it. So here we go. Brighton making that quick sub, trying to maybe catch Westlake unaware. Is a whistle here.
And you're seeing Brighton really trying to find the ways that they can take advantage of Westlake once they're out of position. Quick subs flying upfield, flying into the gaps. Anything they can do to try and slip between those defenders.
Boy, difficult shot there. Backed up here by Brighton.
Again, one that you don't necessarily hate because you have players positioned there behind the goal who can go get the ball, who can be closest to the ball there, as you mentioned earlier, Dane, with a little bit of a different rule in terms of out of bounds with Lacrosse.
Yep. It was a good closeout there high by Hudson to take away that initial shooting lane. As now it is man up for Westlake, which is why you see Brighton here being very patient. We talked about it was the 4-minute non-releasable for Brighton, 3-minute non-releasable for Westlake. We're in that time now, and Brighton looking to just expire this man-down opportunity.
And you're seeing Westlake pushing the defense further out as you get the man on here for Brighton.
Yeah, back to even strength. So now we'll see Brighton initiate the offense. Here's Chase working near side with Steenblick. Back behind the goal with Carrera.
This is where that length for Westlake plays such a huge role, as you're just not able to get the ball moving or get it around or get across quick enough to find those open spaces.
Boy, they gave that to Brighton.
Interesting.
Was Westlake maybe offside on that, Brian? I mean, that'd have to be the call, right?
It's the only thing I can think of is we see some, again, more substitutions here from Brighton and Westlake both, trying to get everything settled in.
Here's Harris. Work to the angle again. Back to X. Good lane shot. Right to the body. And saved away. Backed up here.
You can see just how hard it is sometimes to be accurate with those shots on goal, especially when you're coming across the body like that, you know, from the left side, trying to shoot on the goal, how hard it is to find your target.
Yeah, Lewis done a nice job playing big today. They're looking for that in front, but taken away there by the Thunder, and that was Lewis that was tracking and able to pluck that out of the air.
You see again,
here we go.
Prepared for Lewis.
Let's go. Keep going, Kelson. Got numbers. Throws it GLE right in front, and that could not get put on frame into the corner and backed up here by Westlake.
Yeah, you would think that Brighton would have learned their lesson last time around with Lewis. He's able to essentially run the point guard role there. Does a great job pushing the ball upfield, getting the dish, Found a great shot there in front of the goal, just not able to finish it. But still, Westlake now with the possession and a little bit of momentum in their favor.
All right, Garrison working right back to Jagger. Jagger being shielded there by Salmon. Still on it.
Again, those Brighton defenders do such a good job of using their bodies as part of their defense. Not just sticks, but also bodies.
Fun.
We're going to get a penalty here.
Yeah, able to shake the defense as that shot high, backed up here, but now we will get the stoppage, and it will be Westlake going man up.
Yeah, and that was just, again, as I'm sitting here praising Brighton for their great job that they do with their bodies, a little bit of a miss there with the stick trying to come over the top, maybe trying to make too much of a play there as you're a little bit out of position and feeling a little bit beat. You love the extra effort in trying to get back in position or trying to get the ball back, but causes Brighton to go a man down here, and Westlake should look to attack. Just like I should look for a sandwich after this game.
Amen. I'm on a diet. No fun. Right in front, shot. Didn't get out of the cross. Nice job by that defense. And that's man down, Brian.
Mm-hmm. You can see this Brighton team playing with so much more confidence right now, having the lead, pushing the ball. They've kind of found
They've got numbers here, being man down. Right in front, extra pass, shot, goal.
Wow.
What execution from the Bengals. As a man down, they work tic-tac-toe to Anderson, who finishes.
Yeah, nice job again by James Anderson, who I believe that's his second goal of the game, just being in position, willing teammate, and great job by his teammates to work the ball around him. Once he gets up close like that, Anderson, tons of confidence up against the talented Lewis, the goalie, able to connect and broadens that Brighton lead now to 4-2 here in the third quarter, especially after so much back and forth with the man down, Dane. You love the grit and the tenacity from Brighton there to stay with it and take advantage of numbers there, even though they were man down.
When it's hard because if you're Westlake, you're pressuring there, right? Because you got the extra player, but next thing you know, that midfield, some separation, and now you're in full retreat mode, and Brighton able to take advantage. That's so well done by the Bengals. Face-off win. Tried to work that to Wismer. Also had that other side open, but couldn't take advantage of it. And Brighton turns it over.
You've seen that momentum with Brighton as they win the face-off and immediately push the ball upfield. And now Westlake trying to do a little bit of the same.
Back to even strength here.
Get the ball to a difference maker.
One that you couldn't gather, and Brighton able to come away with it. Here comes Johansson. Was looking to the middle there with Reese, as Luke able to gather it here.
And Wisely brings it out, allows Brighton to reset with their full set of offensive players and getting the long stick back on the defensive side of the field.
And even the defense here trying to get set up there for Westlake. Moments of maybe uncertainty, but all position now are the Thunder.
We got a flag out here as it looks like we'll probably get a substitution penalty, I believe, at the next.
Yeah, back near the middle where those substitutions coming on and off.
One of those things where it's a new rule this year in a new area, so a lot of players might not be as precise about where they need to come on and go off and timing and everything like that, Dane.
Brighton continuing to work this around. 3.5 to go here in the third. Taylor. Over with Wismer, works behind again. Boy, was trying to get that up top and straight away, retreating and recovering. Here was Jake Chase.
You can see what Brighton's trying to do there is they're trying to work the ball in there, and Westlake just does such a good job of using their length and their sticks to get in the way.
Kind of looking for that low to high skip pass. That shooter is set up right there. Chase, the wind, the fire, the goal for Brighton, and it's 5-2. Low to high, and it works.
Exactly, and you see where Brighton's really had success is getting Westlake off of their spots, allowing them those clear paths to get shots on goal. Just a great job by them staying patient, staying with it, rotating the ball around, and waiting till they got that high-low opportunity like you mentioned, Dane.
And it's now 5-2. And I think was this 2-1 Westlake or 2-1 Brighton? I don't remember.
It was 2-1 Westlake at the start, and Brighton has come storming back, and I believe it was it Jake Chase with a goal in that last one?
It was.
Yeah.
I think his first of the year for Chase.
Yeah, and we've seen it from a variety of Brighton players today. You know, James Anderson mentioned him earlier. Luke Reese has done a good job. Great to see Jake Chase getting in on the action as well. Just seeing this confidence and the team grow confident before our eyes.
Well, in the face-offs has been an area where Brighton has been able to be very strong today, and Westlake here trying to get the possession. They had it, but that jarred loose. And it is Brighton coming away with it. Here's England.
And you're seeing how well it works for Brighton when they get those Westlake defenders chasing them around like this, getting them out of position, allowing kind of chaos to take its place and open things up for them. Westlake settling in.
Yeah, Santa Maria pulling that wide as here's Carrera working behind the goal. Boy, Westlake, it feels like it's been a while since they've had possession, Brian.
Yeah, just that one early, it's kind of funny, Dane, but it's been Kelson Lewis that's really pushed the ball in the possession the most for them so far. And with Brighton getting those last 2 goals, he hasn't been able to initiate it like they were earlier.
This one bouncing down. Brighton able to retreat. Talk about that 10-man ride. Westlake was trying to take advantage, could not. Here's Jagger. If you're Westlake, where do you look here, Brian?
Oh, yeah, as we're seeing a line change happening kind of midstream here, you really want to try and find a way to get into the middle of that Brighton defense, right? They've had some success from the outside, and again, Brighton does a great job with the physicality, and so you want to try and clear some space and allow some open shots, as we see one on goal there. Not able to connect, though, for Westlake.
Well, that, to your point, they're trying to look backside, but Isaac Hansen, hey, I know where you're going. Able to reel that in. Quickly down the other way, and the goal. Boy, so quick. You talk about being deliberate? Not that time. Brighton right up and scoring it, and it's 6-2.
Well, they understood the assignment from the very jump, Dane, that it was about pressing the ball, getting out on those fast breaks, and getting those fast break opportunities where Westlake is not able to get set up, and you're seeing them just continually take advantage. A couple have slipped in there on Lewis, and now he's kind of up in his head a little bit, and that's to be expected. That as a goalie, you have to jump back into the fight after every missed stop, every missed opportunity, but at some point it's also up to your teammates to try and get the ball going in the other direction, allow you some time to catch your breath too, and that's really what we haven't seen from Westlake. The momentum has all been in Brighton's favor so far.
It's been a 3-0 scoring advantage in this third quarter for the Bengals.
And again, it starts with the face-offs, right? Brighton has been extremely aggressive, been physical, been fighting and contesting every single one of those. Even when they don't win right off the bat, they're scrapping for it every single time.
Final minute of this third quarter. And again, it's possession that is corralled by Brighton off of that face-off.
You see they're able to push the ball up quickly, trying to catch those Westlake defenders out of position again.
Armston. Excuse me, that was 2. England was able to get that out with Anderson. Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Skip pass. And that one checked loose. And it is gathered by Westlake as Lewis was able to gather. Now Westlake trying to push ahead. Here's Hunter Hernandez, talking about the leading goal scorer, but lost that one. Brighton trying to gather, still loose. Westlake with it. They've got numbers, and that pass was looking for Jagger right in front of the cage, and he couldn't reel it in. It was tall. It was a tough pass to contain. And with that, the quarter comes to a close. A third quarter where Brighton has taken the game by the grasp. They lead Westlake 6-2. You're watching KSL Sports Rewind's Game of the Week, presented by Heidemann Associates on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. It's been a tough night, so appreciate your patience. That's not the first time I've switched to a commercial when I'm trying to manage audio. This is what happens when I don't have Preston.
You knew how to actually operate the system, Dave.
It's what happens when I don't have Preston. I get left to my own and things go awry. Hey, fourth quarter, 6-2 Brighton, and Brighton on the possession. Hit me if you've heard that before. Don't, because you'll knock me over. But
The second half, that has definitely been the story of things here, is Brighton has done a phenomenal job of not only maintaining possession, but maximizing it, taking this 6-2 lead in a game that, for the most part, has been really, really close all along.
and we've got a whistle here. Do we have an offside there?
It looks like Westlake, with the change of possession, has an opportunity here, but a little high on the pass.
And that's been probably the kryptonite tonight for Westlake, is how many of those where it's like, oh, you got numbers here, you can take advantage, and the pass sails, the pass is off target, don't have clean reception, and next thing you know, what's a beautiful opportunity is just left on the field. That's been a big differentiator tonight.
Yeah, usually a sign of a team that's pressing just a little bit. A little surprised to see that from a Westlake squad that's been so good so far this year. Definitely being challenged right now by Brighton. Especially as that cold wind starts to blow in a little bit.
That probably doesn't help.
Yeah. Brighton, a lot of energy on the sideline, a lot of energy on the field as well.
Here's Taylor working from X.
Seeing Brighton content to just work it around the perimeter.
Yep.
Waiting for Westlake to get a little bit out of position.
Boy, that lane almost opened up there. Had Reese held on to that a little bit longer. Boy, that one almost trickled in. But a good job coming back and helping there by Bridger Greer. But they can't clear it. Oh, my bad. There must have been a whistle.
Yeah. Sneaky shot there on goal, just not able to connect with it. Westlake will try and clear, but again, Brighton just doing everything they can to be pestering right now, right? Up in the face, just playing against every single pass, challenging every single thing that's going on out there right now, and playing with a lot of physicality and aggression, as Anderson looks like with a penalty there.
Boy, and Hudson was trying to hold that line. You saw that check come in. Did we get a timeout instead, maybe? Yeah, Westlake called the timeout before the turnover. So timeout, Westlake. Welcome back. Westlake with the possession out of that timeout.
It's a hole.
Trying to back him down.
You're seeing the aggression here from Brighton again, playing with a lot more confidence in that lead. They can get out there a little bit further and get into these Westlake offensive players a little bit more, be a little more aggressive, try and force the issue a little bit as Westlake cuts inside there. And really, with that lead, Dane, what it does is it allows you to play kind of on the line. You can press the issue a little bit more in terms of when you're poking, when you're attacking a defender, where you're attacking a defender, how you're attacking a defender.
The wind's starting to fall here. Look, they looked for Hernandez on that last shot. Hunter had a big windup, just missed it wide. And he's the name I was thinking we were going to call a lot more tonight. And Brighton has done a nice job of really wrapping him up as they're looking in front of the cage. They're intended for Thorne, but could not get it to him. And this one is turned over.
Yeah, and you're seeing another physical play by that Brighton defense, and that's really what they've hung their hat on all game long, trying to bring that physicality to it.
Inside of 9 to go. Rain starting to fall a little bit heavier here at Westlake. A big lob, and that intercepted or deflected. I thought they had it in the stick there, but did not, as we will get whistles here and a timeout to be taken by the Bengals. Timeout Brighton. 8.5 to go. We'll be back. 8.5 to go. Dane Stewart, Brian Brown with you. We'll talk about the next game for Brighton taking on Fremont. Westlake, they'll stay home. Host the Bingham Miners. That's a team that I had a chance to see last week. Of course, the 6A team, so Westlake back in our classification for that one. They're worrying about the next 8.5. And look, with the scoring that they have had this year, it get back in this one, but boy, can't have a lot more waste opportunities and really got to get defensive stops here.
Yeah, stops have been a very, very rare commodity here for Westlake in the second half. Unexpectedly after what we saw in the first half, as well as they were so good at stifling that Brighton offense, and Brighton just doing a great job of taking advantage of every opportunity.
Well, right now, I mean, look at how spaced out Brighton is. Everything is just drawn out, trying to create opportunities. This is kind of old four-school basketball, right? Like, we're going to make you come defend, and if we can take advantage of you being out of position, then we'll take a shot.
And the scoreboard and the clock both playing in Brighton's possession right now.
Yeah. Skipped across, shot. That was saved away. Backed up here by Brighton.
Like the idea here from Brighton, trying to work from the right to left, and trying to get those backside shots where you're getting that goalie coming across, and maybe try to surprise him a little bit.
Wismer looking in front of the goal.
Wow.
Wismer, beautiful eyes, able to find Luke Reese. And I think that's the old Hattie for the junior Luke.
Great job coming in front of the net. They're able to go top down, really. It comes up over the top and goes low on the goalie, not able to get his stick underneath it. And Reese gets the goal up nice and close for the hat trick.
7-2. And look, one of the elements we've talked about but really haven't spoken of definitively has been faceoffs. We've talked about the advantage that has been, but coming into this game, Zachary Nobis, 727 from the spot. Jackson Webster, 667. Those are their faceoff win percentages. Webster in for this faceoff, but it has been dominated in similar proportion here tonight.
Once again, Brighton gets the faceoff there, and you can see just their ability to get upfield and get initiating in their offense has really put Westlake at a disadvantage because they've had a hard time getting to their spots.
Tell you, here's the takeaway from tonight. You don't want to fall down to Brighton.
No, and this is a team that plays well with momentum, and when they're feeling confidence and with an advantage, they do a great job of continuing to press that advantage.
It was 3-2 at the break. Manageable. Moment it hit 4, then it was like Brighton all of a sudden is, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to move you here. And it was like then things opened up, and Westlake has not been able to find that answer to even score since then.
And Brighton's done it with a variety of players too, right?
Right.
Luke
Yep.
Reese, Anderson, all getting involved
Chase.
in goals.
Yeah. 6.5 to go here in our final frame. Step there, sent up, space, shot, goal. And that's where, again, it's just, hey, we're going to open you up. And this one scored by Jake Chase, his second of the game.
Yeah, and a great shot by Jake Chase, but also just a great design there by Brighton as they've been attacking the middle all game long. They come at Westlake from all sorts of different angles, coming on from right, from up top, from the left. Fast breaks. It's something different every single time, and just created a great lane there for Chase as he was able to get the goal.
I've just initiated the heated hoodie. Got to thank the sisters, Dawn and Darcy. Heated hoodie. This thing.
You're just like Tony Stark up in here.
Pretty much. Yeah. Look, I don't fool around with being cold. I don't do it.
We are getting back into the season where we are out and about a lot more, not sitting in comfy basketball arenas, getting out to the games. It's been a lot of fun for me. First time out this year. Exciting to watch this play out as Brighton has taken a commanding lead now, 8-2.
Boy, that's an aggressive play in the crease there by Lewis. He sells out on that one. Look, it's 8-2, right? What's the worst thing that can happen at this point? He comes out, picks it off, but again, they can't capitalize. And now Brighton going to take their final turnover here of the second half with 5:53 to go. We'll stay here. We'll give a chance for a little Dane Bryan discussion. Brian, lacrosse season upon us. I know you've been spending time getting caught up. What are some of your expectations, hopes? When you look at the 23 landscape, Corner Canyon has been the team in recent years. You expect the Chargers to be there again in 6A. We talk about Park City last year, winning that state championship against Olympus. Are they the team in 5A?
You have to think that they probably are coming into this season, and it's a unique year because you're seeing every single year so many programs growing. Leighton last year, I believe it was their first year fielding a team. Now Northridge, all of a sudden, their program is skyrocketing. Right as the sport becomes sanctioned and more widespread, we're seeing a lot of those sort of smaller to middle programs rise. But to be able to rise to the very top, it's such a hard climb to get to that last rung. And you see programs like you mentioned Corner Canyon, Olympus, Park City, these teams that have been at the top for so long, that have the culture that runs all the way down even to their youth programs. It's really hard to pick against them because they've been doing it for so long. They have the structure, they have the coaching, they know what the expectations are. Again, we're seeing a young Brighton team almost grow up before our eyes right now. And this is a program in the early days of lacrosse that did a lot of growth as well. Yeah. So maybe they'll be a challenger, but at this point in time, you kind of look at the favorites and think that those are going to be the ones that will run the table this year.
Do you have a sleeper for us?
Ooh, I'm always curious about Davis.
Okay.
Davis is one of those programs that I feel like has been up and coming for a long time. There are a few of those northern schools. Fremont's another one.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
And this is probably recency bias. Northridge.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I had some expectation going there, but then you watch it and you're like, I think this team's actually really good. Northridge might be in to turn some heads by the time this thing's over. I don't know if they win the state championship, right? But they lost to Park City 9-0. That game was 4-0 in the fourth quarter. Like, you hold Park City to 9 goals in a game, that doesn't happen very often. And 4 goals through 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. That Northridge defense, they can fly around, and that offense coming together. Knights are my sleeper. There you go, Coach Reed Keller. Yep. First
year with Northridge,
correct.
Coming over there, instilling a lot of culture. Probably had the athletes already.
Returns Dibble in the cage from last year. That Northridge team, if you haven't had a chance to see them, go check him out. Nice little swing once again. That's a skip across, and that is the sophomore Austin Taylor with the Brighton goal. It's 9-2.
And it's literally raining and pouring, both droplets and goals out here, Dane. But you're seeing just once that Brighton team caught the momentum and had that just kind of explosive series, goal after goal after goal there in the third quarter. They haven't let up, and they felt able to really just get out there, play confidently, be more aggressive in attack. And Westlake, not conditioned to playing with their backs up against the wall like this, has really struggled to find a groove, find any kind of momentum, find any kind of emotion even out there on the field. I think in the second half, honestly, the 2 best plays that we've seen so far were Kelson Lewis advancing both of those fast break opportunities off of saves. And if he wasn't able to get the save, Westlake really wasn't able to do much with the ball.
It's one of the tough things. You talk about a Westlake team that 7-0 coming in. You talk about some of these scores: 8-4, 9-7, 9-4, 9-6, 9-4, 8-6. Like close games, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of them. They scored 15 against Cedar Valley. That's the most they've scored this year in a game. And when that defense, the most goals they had given up in a game coming into this was 7. When that defense starts to let cracks appear, right, then all of a sudden, where do you go if that's been kind of your calling card? And I think that's where this team's going to have that opportunity to look at that, right? Mm-hmm. and to say, hey guys, there are going to be nights where we've got to be able to execute offensively. We talk about some of the missed opportunities, just passes have been errant, right? Ground balls they've given up. They're not far away at all from this being a 9-7, 9-8 game and them having an opportunity, but you haven't scored since midway of the second quarter.
And the face-offs, too.
Yeah, the face-offs have been killer, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a tone setter and such a momentum setter for these games is, we used to talk about, in football terms, where's your heart, right? And I think a lot of the times with the face-off, that's an easy way to show where your heart is after a goal or after, a change of possession or whatever it is. And we've seen that Brighton has gone after it aggressively and demonstrated where their heart is.
That kept in. Ooh. Is the possession there? No. Taken away, but chopped down there was Hudson. Westlake will have it.
Again, you're seeing just the aggressiveness and the physicality of Brighton really having an impact on this game.
As they win it right back. Penalty flag here on the play. And offside here going to be the call. I'll go against the Bengals.
You never say never in these games, but with 3 minutes left, 9-2 score, you just don't know if that's going to be enough for Westlake to try and even this one up.
Well, you really probably need perfection, right? Got to score, can't lose face-offs. Brighton right now, if they can go and stall for a minute 30, it's over, right?
Yeah. Exactly, and that's a lot of what they've done here in the fourth quarter. They've been able to kind of play keep away and just be very selective about what opportunities they take advantage of, where Westlake really just has to force the issue right now. You can see they're just not quite comfortable doing that even right now.
Well, look at how far back Brighton's even going. We talk about Hernandez. He's trying to get a little bit of space behind the goal, and they're right with him. It's like, look, 39 is not touching this thing. That's been Brighton's focus, and it's worked well here tonight.
And you can see Westlake trying to get shots on goal, and it's just been a great job here by Brighton, both defensively and also by their goalie. He's done a really good job of keeping the ball in front of him and getting his stick on top of that.
And there was a turnover kind of in on the crease there, so Brighton giving it up.
Isaac Hansen doing a great job today in goal.
Yes. Gave up the 2 in the first half, but really has made nice saves throughout. Hasn't been tested a ton, but when he has been, he's been able to step up, make plays. Pretty good job, really, by that whole defensive side of the Bengals. Inside of 2 to go. That shot, and there's a goal. Good look there for Hernandez, and he gets his first goal of the game here with 1:50 to go.
Yeah, great job there, just taking the action into the middle of the field, getting a great shot on the crease there. Kind of got a couple of Brighton defenders bunched up, able to turn the corner, get a nice clear shot on there, and Hansen just not able to be quick enough to get underneath that. Great job by Hernandez.
32nd goal of the year for Hunter.
Which is just insane at this point already in the season.
No kidding, huh?
Yeah.
So we'll head to the face-off. Again, this becoming a ever-critical part for the Thunder.
Again, you're seeing Brighton won the face-off with that one now with possession, advancing it up the field.
You know, one of the items that I haven't paid attention to tonight, my apologies, I think that was Ryan Whiting in on the face-off there. The face-off guy this year has been Tommy Bodell. I don't know if maybe he's unavailable tonight. Did not see him in on that face-off. I don't know that I've seen 15 on the field. That could certainly be contributing to that aspect of the game that Brighton has been so strong at tonight.
Yeah, you're seeing Whiting has struggled a lot, just trying to find position and get away with the ball. But also it's been a team effort on a lot of occasions, Dane, where you've seen Brighton fly to the ball, trying to pick up some of those loose possessions. And it's one of those situations where it's just been a contest of effort, and Brighton has come out on top.
Final minute, Brighton content to just drain this down. Brian, your final thoughts, what we've seen tonight?
Well, an impressive effort by the Bengals for sure, in a young team that sort of grew up right in front of our eyes and found a lot of confidence and rhythm, and I think they're starting to develop a brand for themselves. This is a team that plays physical defense and likes to attack on offense and take advantage of fast break opportunities and things of that nature. And really impressive effort by them to maintain their emotion after the scuffle right there before the first half. On the Westlake side of things, it just, for whatever reason, there's just a few little events that happened and got them off their game. They were never able to get mentally back on top of it. So you hope that they can reset things a little bit and go back to practice.
And that will do it. 9-2. Brighton comes on the road and gets a big win on the road as they'll return home to take on the Fremont Silverwolves 2-0. As you mentioned it, boy, the growth we saw from this team, where it started and where it ended the night, significant. What a group for the Bengals, and for Westlake, a group that couldn't find its rhythm, but they'll have an opportunity to bounce back later this week when they take on Bingham. 9-2, Brighton, your final. Brian, your player of the game.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go with James Anderson. I thought he did a great job early on, not just setting the tone, but getting, I believe he had the first goal of the game, had a couple more that he added to that as well. Did a great job, but really the guy who set the tone for Brighton and then led the way for others to follow along. So that is my player of the game, Dane.
Congratulations to Anderson and the Bengals as they get the win here, 9-2 over Westlake. For Vince Francis, Brian Brown, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. And a reminder, we'll have lacrosse action for you the rest of the year through the regular season all the way to state championships right here on KSLSports.com.